Our next speaker is Pauline Shangett, Chief Communications Officer at ChangeNOW. Having come from 7 years of experience in music marketing and promotion, Pauline joined the crypto space at the beginning of 2018. She's very excited about blockchain technology and fintech and utilizes her previous experience to make ChangeNOW the best crypto business on the block.
What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing tonight? It's really hot here in Barcelona, isn't it? Okay, so thank you very much for introducing me. Let's, without further ado, let's start the presentation. How many of you guys have been dabbling in crypto for not a long time, or have just launched the product? You can raise your hands, it's fine. How many of you guys are fresh? Cool, thank you. How many of you guys have just barely started and would like some practical advice? You can raise your hands, it's fine. Okay, cool. So, as this kind gentleman had already said, I have been involved with music marketing before, and I've entered the crypto space a year ago, and I have a lot of faith in ChangeNOW, just so you know. And ChangeNOW has been on the market for almost 2 years now, and during that time we have garnered quite a lot of pretty valuable experience, which I would like to share with you guys. So I hope it's cool with you. So, as we all know, crypto is, wow, that was loud. Crypto is still super young. It's basically like a tiny baby. If we're talking in more tech-oriented terms, it's still around Web 1.0. So we all know that there is still quite a bunch of things that we, as a community of enthusiasts and developers and entrepreneurs, we have to improve it so that the average crypto enthusiast experience is it gets enjoyable after a while. Right now, not so much. So I would like to point out a few problems faced by the crypto market right now. A few of them are lack of trust, lack of trust, lack of proper legal regulation, low service quality, and high entry threshold. First of all, let's talk about the lack of trust. We all know that an average crypto lover is kind of suspicious of anything that comes to the crypto market right now. It is kind of understandable because, with a lot of scams and exchanges getting hacked and services turning out to be not as good as people have thought they would be, people find it very hard to trust services. For example, any of you guys, you do use a lot of crypto-related services, and for example, you have a wallet, and it's taking more than 5 seconds to sync than it does usually, and you're like, oh my god, is this a scam? Do I have to report this on Reddit or something? Oh my god, I'm gonna go to Bitcoin Talk and complain to everyone about it, and they're gonna be their business is toast, they're dead basically. So it is understandable that in this environment, it's kind of hard to gradually earn people's trust. So we have prepared a few hints for you guys so that it's a little bit easier for you to, to open up to people and garner up an audience. So the first solution that we would like to propose is to be transparent about your operations. No one likes secrets. Your entire existence is based on being as transparent as you can be, because you are a service, but you have your team is kind of anonymous, and your operations are kind of behind the curtains, and no one will like that. People will start asking you questions, and if you can't really answer them, what are you even doing out there? So you have to work out your key values and commit to them, because when you are a young business that is just starting to gather up an audience, building up your presence. You have to be benevolent. What was I gonna say? Like, you have to be benevolent, you have to own up to your mistakes. If you made a business decision that turned out to be pretty good, you have to stick to it. You have to tell people, like tell everyone around that you have made this decision, because reputation is really important in this field. And if you made a decision that turned out to be not really good, it was kind of questionable, find out what you have to fix and fix it. And more importantly, you have to tell everyone around that the mistake you made needed fixing, because how are people gonna know? Everyone needs to know, because when you're a young company, everything needs to be public. And next is communication. Communication in this business, it's fairly simple, like it's crucial. And it's not about like going on Trustpilot and seeing that you have a good review. You're like, oh, thank you so much for awesome feedback. See you again on Service X. It's really easy to do that. But when you're just starting out, you have to find out every bad comment, every review, every person who has ever been uncomfortable while using your service. You have to find them, you have to help them, because these people are giving you your money, and it's in their power to stop doing so if they find your customer policy unacceptable. You have to own up to your mistakes and do everything in your power to fix them, because even the biggest players on the market mess up sometimes. We have witnessed several really kind of big screw-ups, for example, like with GateHub and with Binance. I don't really want to say their name because, you know, we're partners, so yeah, but it did happen, and they did own up to their mistakes, and most importantly, they told everyone, like, yeah, hi, we were hacked, and these things happen, and we love our clients. So you know how they have this SAFU, the Secure Fund for Users? They took out 7,000 BTC out of that fund and reimbursed every one of their clients, and everyone is satisfied. And that's this perfect example of good customer policy. Before I talk about the second challenge with the lack of proper legal regulation, I would like to tell you about a case that we had almost a year ago. It was a botched KYC case, and there was this client who was having a little bit of an issue with our KYC policy, which admittedly was not as good as it could have been. We had a lot to learn, and most of that time was occupied by communicating with a client who was pissed at us. He made sure to tell everyone on social media about it, and we wanted to fix it because we knew that if we just stomped that down, that's bad practice. No one's gonna like that. So we grabbed our legal team by the chest, and we said, we need a solution. We need a solution that would be available to help every client, to help this client. He was angry, he was upset. We still feel kind of sorry for him, but he was an asshole. That's okay. So we had to help that client and all of the future clients that would came after them. And after 3 months of nonstop work, which was grueling, honestly, I had just joined the company and it was just overwhelming for me, to be honest. And after a while, this perfect solution came around. After that, our KYC policy is entirely opt out. So if a client comes and they were KYC'd, they would not like to do that. They don't have to consent. They can just refuse and receive a refund and go on their merry way. Isn't that great? So now I would like to talk about the lack of proper legal regulation. As with the previous point, there are several things that I would like you guys to keep in mind. So first of all, the regulatory foundation is not formulated properly and varies wildly from country to country. First of all, the thing you have to do is to pick a legislation. First of all, you have to monitor the legislation in all the countries that seem fit for you, that are crypto-friendly. And if you don't like the legislation you're in right now, you just move. It's that easy. The legal field is very unstable. There are a lot of like crypto-related bills and laws coming almost daily, and even the biggest countries out there, they constantly seem to change their policy on crypto. For example, like, you know, in China, they're banning crypto everywhere, but then all out of a sudden, they're planning to make a digital national currency that's even backed by their central bank. That's wild. I'm pretty sure you all guys think that's also pretty strange. So, information is key in this thing. You have to garner information from everyone you can. Your partners, your employees, your family members, your rivals. You have to grab like on every little bit of information and use it to your benefit. So information is power, as we all know. As already said, like creating a knowledge base, like you can't just listen to people like talk. For example, like your neighbor was talking about, oh, you know, this crypto law got introduced recently, like, did you know? You don't just listen to that, you create a knowledge base and you share it with everyone, because we're all a community, right? So we have to work together. And the most important thing, KYC, like we all know that it's the boon and the bane of the crypto community. I will touch on that a little bit later on. But a lot of people tend to think that, like just today we had a guy on our stand who was like, oh, I do not like KYC, KYC's bad. And you know, it's a perfectly valid point of view, because you don't want to disclose any more information about yourself as possible. But at the same time, when there's crime going on, and you know that a lot of countries don't really have any sort of like crypto police that is going to help you when things go south, KYC is basically your only friend. And the first part of AML KYC stands for anti-money laundering, and believe me, lots of people want to do that. Because how many of you have heard of the recent exchange hacks? Like, you know, GateHub, Binance, BitHum, Bitrue. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people tend to think that services like ours are like the perfect safe space to launder their money off of. Like, we don't have registration, and our KYC policies like tend to be really private. But we don't just stand still and watch all this like nasty business going on. You know, you might ask this question, like, how do we keep people from laundering money while preserving our clients' privacy? Almost 100, like, this is the previous presentation, almost $1.5 million, $1.5 million, yeah, worth of crypto has been passed through us in an effort to launder money, of course. But what they didn't know is that we have a smart AML KYC procedures built on the back of a powerful risk management system. So these funds, they come through us, but our risk management system says, like, this stuff is suspicious. This is bad. And we have managed to retain all that money, and we have returned that to their rightful owners. And a lot of exchanges, like, for example, like Bitrue, GateHub, and BitHum, they are very grateful to us, and that's amazing. We love them as well. And that same risk management system lets us make most transactions private while the rest are opt out. That's pretty great. The third challenge that I would like to talk about is service quality. There are a lot of services out there. Some of them are like ours, some are not. And a lot of them are like, they're not perfect. Their UX leaves a lot to be desired. And if your service is like, if you've just heard me talk about this and you've had this like little tingly sense of shame, like, what if my service is like that? Well, you have to work on it. Otherwise, like, do you think people will come into your service and be like, oh, yeah, it's kind of bad, so I'll just leave it, like, I'll just leave it lying there, like, lying around there? No, they're gonna, like, you know, as information is power, they're gonna come onto the internet. They're going to complain about you all over social media, like, oh, did you hear about Service X? I tried them out yesterday. They were horrible, and that's very bad for business. So, as a service, we've probably had those people. We still get like a little bit of threads on Reddit that are like, oh, have you heard about ChangeNOW? Yeah, I've heard they were really good. And there's some asshole who comes in and like, oh, did you know that like they're not that perfect? I've heard some bad things about them. And we always work on improving, and here are solutions that I would like to introduce to you today. We have multiple exchange partners that lets us achieve maximum redundancy. We have unique trading strategies which allow us to give the best rates to our clients at any time of day. We have optimized swap processing, which altogether lets us shrink the swap time down to 2 minutes for small amounts, and Movie Sonic is here to prove that. The fourth challenge that I would like to touch, I guess a little bit for a longer time, because that's one of the problems that's overwhelming the market right now, is the high entry barrier. And everyone keeps banging on about adoption, like, we need adoption. Crypto needs to be accessible to people. And for some reason, people think that the most important gateways to adoption are things like Libra, which is questionable. Yeah, but we as services, we need to make crypto accessible to our friends from high school, our parents, our siblings, that guy on the street that just came by. And the first point of that challenge that I would like to touch upon is that crypto, it's not cheap. And I'm not just talking about market prices, because Bitcoin ain't cheap right now. It's like 12K right now, I think. Fiat to crypto purchases tend to, first of all, they're pretty hard, and a lot of services tend to charge absolutely inhumane fees. Crypto is difficult for the masses, because there are a lot of investors that came into crypto in the past couple years, and they all think they can get rich really quickly, but it's really difficult. That's why a lot of people have a lot of trouble with communicating with crypto. And we as a service had to make using crypto fun, easy, and most importantly, not scary. What do people want from crypto? I guess it's pretty easy. They want to buy it in a convenient, easy, and cheap way. They want to swap it from one another privately. They want to keep it safe. They want to pay with it wherever they like. And they would also like to accept it in their businesses, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs in the masses. And the first thing is tackled by ChangeNOW, the swap service. As you might already know, the people who came onto our stand and we ran a demo for them, it has an intuitive and easy interface. Creating a swap takes about 40 seconds, and the swap itself takes from 2 to 20 minutes. The fiat to crypto gateway is coming in about 2 weeks, because we had a ramp implemented. It wasn't just it just wasn't working out. People were complaining, so we listened to them and integrated a new one, and it's coming, I guess, in 2 weeks tops. And as for keeping crypto safe, our partners have that covered. As of now, ChangeNOW is integrated into a plethora of wallets. The biggest ones of each are Trezor, Exodus, Edge, Ledger, Atomic, Garda, so on and so forth. And also many, many more wallets. And because non-custodial models of keeping crypto safe are really great. You shouldn't keep money on exchanges. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin, people. And how do we handle payments? We have Now Payments. It's a custody-free payment solution which is powered by ChangeNOW's exchange mechanism. It has a pretty wide range of supported coins, instant conversions, and we are plugging in a fiat ramp pretty soon also. Other services introduced by us are Now Nodes, which is a set of nodes for dApp development, a zero-fee public Lightning Network node, and our native token, which is called Now. You can learn more about it at booth 22, because my time is running out. And the most important thing that I would like to touch upon today, we are called the Now Group for one single reason. All our services are geared towards using crypto and blockchain without any kind of hesitation. Because why wait when you can do it now? Yeah, so thank you so much. My name is Pauline. I've had a lot of fun coming here and speaking for you guys. You can reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit. You can check out our website. You can come to booth 22 so we can run your presentation. Come on in. We don't bite. Thank you so much.